We want to thank our outstanding sponsor, Touring & Cruises Travel. It's the same team as Touring Plans Travel, but with a new name. Their travel advisors will take care of your Disney or other travel destination needs. Make sure you tell them Rope Drop Radio sent you. Now, on to the show.
Helping you navigate the Disney parks.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
You're listening to Rope Drop Radio.
Welcome to another Rope Drop Radio. Derek and Doug talking all things Disney. And we are back, Doug, with another episode of WWDD. But instead of Derek, it is Doug's turn.
Aha.
So what would Doug do Disney edition? So I like these. We need to do some more of these because I like the flow of the Derek and Doug.
Maybe get all our questions in one avenue or something too.
We need to do this down the road and let our Patreons ask us the question, what would Derek and Doug do? I think that's a good one.
Okay. Yes, that will be next.
And if you want to ask us some questions, Patreons, or if you're not a Patreon, you want to support the show and get in there, we have a link to the show notes. Doug and I have some bonus episodes with some trips coming up. And then we have an after show every single week. We have swag, we have Zooms, we have different tiers, but we have a lot of Patreons we love talking with online on a daily basis, and just awesome community. So if you want to be a part of that community, go into the show notes, click the link, and support the show.
Absolutely. Another great way to support the show is to share an episode with your friends or family. Is there an episode that speaks to you deeply and personally? Well, share it. Shout it from the mountaintops. Or join us on our trip in April. From April 3rd through the 6th, join me in running the 10-miler on the Springtime Surprise and book through Touring & Cruises. That's really the best way to support the show. And then also leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review and we will read it on air eventually. This week's 5-star reviews. Fantastic Disney podcast, 5 stars by Hastings. I'm pretty sure they just hit letters.
I hope so. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Good job.
This is my go-to podcast for everything Disney. Derek and Doug do a great job of keeping me updated with any changes going on in the Disney world. There you go. Thank you, Hastings. Love it. All right. Next one. Back in April, we were trying to hit 600 reviews, April of 2024. So we have a whole bunch of reviews from April 2nd. And this one is titled, Hoping to be number 600. You might have been. We'll never really know. They don't tell us exactly.
You were. Congratulations.
Yes, good job. Is by Down35. New listener, but love your takes on all things WDW. It's great to hear the trip reports. I find myself answering your questions aloud in the car. Keep up the great work. And then at the end of it, we get a trumpet emoji, squid emoji.
Love it. Yes.
Yeah, trumpet squid emojis. It's a thing. It is
a thing. Well, another thing is we're only 38 reviews away from 700. So please, if you want to be that 700, go make 38 accounts and leave 38 reviews. Yeah. Anyway, big giveaway if we can hit that by the end of the year.
That'll be interesting. It's already September. And like if you've left a review, you can leave a new review, but it doesn't count as a new review.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the number doesn't change.
Just let your kids, friends, ex-lovers, whatever you need, tell them to leave a review and we will read it 5 on
stars,
air.
Of course.
5 stars. Yes. Please do.
Yeah.
So today we are doing What Would Doug Do? If you heard us before, it was What Would Derek Do? This time is What Would Doug Do? We're doing the same questions to hear Doug's opinions on those topics. And so, Doug, my question is, are you ready?
I'm ready, but I heard your answers, right? I already kind of had mine in my head, so that's why I let you go first. Mine involve more napping and donuts, and
interesting.
Not really donuts, but more napping.
Okay. Well, let's talk about you are 7 days out from a day at Magic Kingdom. Okay. Mm-hmm. You're making your multi-pass lightning lanes. What are your top 3, knowing that there are tiers that you have to abide?
Yes. So the Magic Kingdom has tiers. In tier 1, you only get one tier 1.
Yeah.
And so it's Big Thunder, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan, Space Mountain, or Tiana's. And much like yourself, Derek, I'm going to have to pick Tiana's because
you just got to
now. I feel like that's the way to go. But then I'm going to employ a strategy here. So I'm going to get Tiana's maybe at 10 a.m., whatever time I can, right? I just need Tiana's. I don't care what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
But then my tier twos, yeah, I don't really know what I care that much about that I'm gonna get it. Maybe a Haunted Mansion, maybe a Pirates, maybe Tomorrowland Speedway. No, not Tomorrowland Speedway. Strike that. Oh my gosh, why did I say that out loud? That's embarrassing.
Oh, it's
Nobody
great.
does
I
that.
don't even know if I'm going to edit that out.
Please don't. Let people learn from my mistake of rambling. But the tier twos just they don't get your blood pumping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is book something that I might do it within that very early part of the park being open. I don't really even need it, right? But I'm going to burn it. Okay,
Oh,
so I
makes
might
sense.
book a Buzz Lightyear. So while my family rope drops Tron, I stop off at Buzz, although they all have to. Well, I take all theirs, I tap them in, right? To use that lightning lane, and then I get on right when the park's open. I can make my fourth lightning lane, right?
I like it.
And that fourth lightning lane can be a tier one with if it's available. And they hold some availability back for day of all these tier one attractions, right? Because they got to. So hopefully then I can snag a Jungle Cruise or something else for later in the day. So that's how I can try to get a second tier one. But I don't want them to give up their rope dropping of Space Mountain or something, because if you go on Buzz, by the time you get off, the rope drop line everywhere else is long.
Yep.
So I might try to cheat the system, tap 5 people in. I don't know. I'll probably get yelled at. But really, who's tapping in right at Park Open? The other tricky thing is actually so never mind this. You get your rope drop at 8:30 with a 9 a.m. opening because of early entry, but it's at 9 that you need to tap into Buzz Lightyear with everybody. So you still get your rope drop because you
Okay.
can't use a lightning lane until the park opens.
There you
So
go.
I just talked all the circles there,
All
Derek.
the things.
Do you
I
have
blacked
you
out for a
gonna
little bit.
Oh,
There you go. But
okay.
I think I
Thanks for
gotcha.
listening. But yeah, so at 9 a.m., you tap into your Buzz Lightyear or you tap into your Small World or whatever your tier two, Haunted Mansion. You tap in at 9, and then you get snag yourself a second tier one, like Big Thunder or Jungle Cruise.
I get what
That's
you're
my plan.
saying. Yes.
I'm trying to get 2
I
tier ones in a day.
I see how you're doing it. Yes, I get it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
So you
So
get your
there's
rope
Doug's
drop in.
strategy. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tiana's we both have as number one. So
Yes.
let's talk about your favorite ride. Tron has dropped its virtual
Ooh,
queue,
ugh,
knowing that a lot of your friends are going to go to that. What are you
yes.
going to do, Doug, at Rope Drop?
Well, I think with Tron being a rope drop now, still see my wife just spending money as if we have all of it to spend and buying the or the individual lightning lane. That's what I foresee, Derek.
Makes sense.
I don't see my wife fighting the rope drop crowd. So I bet they'll still rope drop Space Mountain or maybe Mine Train now, because Mine Train rope drop has been cut in half, basically.
It has.
It's no
Yep.
longer a full circus. And if you don't have a stroller and you're rope dropping Mine Train, you have like a huge advantage. You just they all
That's
got to
true.
park their strollers.
Yep.
So yeah, rope dropping Mine Trains become a little more feasible, but I think Space Mountain still might be what my family does. I'm not doing any of those because I'm sad. So I would still probably rope drop Buzz while I wait for them, and I'll go get my Galactic Hero sticker, and I'm good for the day. Really, at that point, maybe get a Dole Whip. I
Yep.
don't know. Depends on how long they're gone. They might rope drop Tron, but I doubt it. I bet they go Space Mountain just to. They're still gonna buy the individual Lightning Lane, and I would not. So but my
Okay.
wife will. Does that make any
Well,
sense?
it made sense. It does.
Okay.
You're a challenging person when you rope drop with Doug. That's for sure, because he can't rope drop all the things. That's the moral of the story when you go with Doug.
Yeah.
He
Not
is
all
not
the
going to rope
things.
drop Tron with you.
Maybe
That's
I'll
for
rope
sure.
drop Country Bears. I'll go to Country Bears,
Ooh,
check
I
out
actually
that.
love
It's
that.
new.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
better make sure you get to it on your day in the
I need
park
to do
because
that. You're right. You're
it's
right.
all
I need
new.
to make sure that gets down. Let's talk about Epcot. You are hot, tired. You need to eat. Where are you going to go at Epcot? What are your top 3 choices?
All right. So sitting down, get off my feet, taking my time. at Epcot. So one place I like that my family doesn't necessarily is Beer Garden in Germany. It's a nice long dining experience. It's a buffet, but it has a
And
show,
got a
Derek.
great show. Love it. Yeah.
Fantastic trumpet player in there. So I love that. So Beer Garden's one, and it's always nice and cool because I think they're trying to make it feel like a nice fall day in Germany, like
Yep.
Oktoberfest every day, right? So
Hmm.
that's one that I really like for getting off your feet, relaxing a little bit. Like it's weird how some dining can feel more hectic than others. And even with that being a buffet, I don't feel rushed. I don't feel any of that sort of stuff. So I like that. Um, Other places I might go to kind of eat and relax. Le Chefs de France is a nice, very sit down, kind of low key atmosphere.
Yep.
Not too much hubbub. There's going on. It's been a couple years since I've been there though. When I was
Yeah. I
thinking
went
about
there
this,
2 years ago.
it's good,
Yep.
um, and I just want to relax. So I don't want to go to a high energy type of like Tepan is lots going on. The way this is worded, I just wanted to relax, right? Um,
Hmm.
Another great one to relax at, and I believe you said this one too, Derek, was San Angel Inn in
It
Mexico.
is. Yep.
And if you
Watching the
get
boats go by.
you get one of those seats by the water. Oh, it's phenomenal. You just wave at the people. They've never waved at you before. Every boat's a new person. So
Yep.
when the kids were little, we got a couple times there, right on the rail, and it was the best meal ever. We didn't have to like tell anybody to sit down and eat or quit. They're all just waving at boats, eating a chip, waving at
Yeah.
boats, eating a chip.
We got on the rail as well when we went there with the kids.
They
That
do
was
a good
good luck
job of
for
that.
us. Yep.
Yeah. Bigger groups, it's harder to get on the rail, but um, yeah, parties of five and smaller, you can get on that rail, and it's dark and cool in there all the time. Um, so that's one. Those are three that I really enjoy. And you threw out a counter service one. You gave a shout out to Regal Eagle. I
As a
got to give
joke,
a
because
shout
it's
out.
the opposite of cool. It's hot because it's barbecue.
It's yeah, but I like the food there, so I'm not opposed to Regal Eagle. But the bad thing is you're like constantly getting up to refill your drink, to get your condiments, to get you it's work.
Yep.
um I think all counter service at Disney World is work. It's not relaxing. So um can yeah, none of them are relaxing, Derek. None
Okay.
of them. Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
there we
Well,
go.
you hit Hollywood Studios for reverse rope drop. Maybe you're flying in or you get there late at a park hop. What are you going to do? What's your plan for Hollywood Studios late afternoon?
Okay, so reverse rope drop can mean several things. To me, it usually means arrive at dinner time. So our reverse rope drop usually starts with eating in the park or having come from dining right outside the park. So usually the first thing we got to do is place our mobile order while we're on the Skyliner or while we're on the bus or driving to park. And a lot of times that involves ABC Commissary or Backlot Express. If it's November, December, January, it could possibly be Rosie's or the Sunset Market Ranch over by Tower of Terror. But that's all outside seating, so we won't go there most of the year, if you know what I mean, Derek.
No, I get it.
So that's the first step, eating, and then I think right after that shows are usually over by then. That's one bad thing about reverse rope dropping in Hollywood studios is you got to
Yep.
look at those show times
No
because if you
Indiana
want to
Jones
go
that late.
right, he's got to go to bed. He's getting old, Harrison Ford. So if you want
Also,
to catch a
rest in peace,
show,
James Earl Jones, by the way.
oh
I know.
yeah,
Anyway, I felt like I need to say
Darth
that on the show.
Vader,
Anyway, go. There
yeah,
you go. Back to Hollywood
Mufasa.
Studios.
Anyway, back to Hollywood studios. Um, so if you're wanting to do a show, you need to be really aware of show times that you get there in time. So sometimes we've done a show and then eaten dinner, depending on like what time they're running. Like one time we did Frozen, Ever After the show, the Frozen show, Frozen sing along there. and then we ate at ABC Commissary, right? So watch that if you want to do a show. But then, like you said, Star Tours is a
Yep.
great reverse rope drop starting
Great one.
ride
The
because it's got high
best.
capacity. And then,
And a new scene.
yeah. And then here's the other thing that you did not mention, that we would have been stacking up some lightning lanes. So we'd have 3 lightning
Good point.
lanes sitting and waiting to be used at Hollywood Studios. So don't know what they are, but whatever we did stack up, that's what we would do right after dinner.
I looked at
And
mine as
then
the day I fly in, and I don't always get,
you're not splurging for
not
3
splurging on
rides.
the, yeah, because I get more nervous at my flight, anything.
Right. And
So,
then you
yeah.
end up not using it, right? If you get
Yep.
stuck in Chicago, because that's what Chicago's there for.
Yep.
That's literally the purpose of the airport, is to have you get stuck there. I think, Derek, have we
That's
both
true.
experienced this?
Oh, but I've
Is
gotten lucky where I've been like the first flight out of the stuckness. Like the
Oh
last
yeah.
time I flew through Chicago, we flew in really late, and like we were the first flight then out. Like the other kids there were like, "Yeah, we've been waiting for this flight to Orlando for 8 hours," and I'm like, "Oh,
Oh, we
sweet,
just got here.
got here and I'm
Um,
going to Orlando."
yeah. Is that Midway? Is that your least favorite airport in America,
No,
Derek?
O'Hare. O'Hare's
So,
I prefer Midway over O'Hare.
but is Midway number 2 then?
On
Can you
like least
name
favorite
one?
airports, like
Yeah,
LAX is in there, I think before
that's a whole
Midway, but
different
yeah,
ball of wax. Yeah,
I-
yeah. I think it's 1, 2.
for you,
O'Hare,
I mean I
Midway,
avoid it at all costs. That's
Denver.
for sure.
Denver's up
Denver,
there on
I
my
try to
list
avoid.
too.
Yeah,
Ugh.
we did a whole episode, a Patreon episode on our worst airports. I'll have to go back and listen.
Oh yeah. I'm sure I complained about Denver.
I bet you do.
Although Seattle inched up my list. That's for
Oh,
sure.
that's one I've never been to. Anyway, so you've hit. So
Yeah.
that's
So
Hollywood
we use
Studios
our
for you.
lightning lanes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
You need a bite to eat for lunch, but you want to leave a park to take a break. So, what resort dining counter service are you going to do? I didn't say what park, so now you're really picking your maybe 2 favorite resort quick service spots to go to.
All right. So basically, this is my pre-nap lunch.
Okay.
That's what's happening here, right? We're leaving the park, gonna go take a break at the room. We're gonna snag lunch on the way. Captain Cook's always at the top of my list. Really.
Hey, I said that one. We agreed on
Yeah,
something.
I love Captain Cook's. If I'm leaving the Magic Kingdom, though, there's 4 solid options right outside of the Magic Kingdom with Captain Cook's. The Grand Flow has the Gasparilla Grill,
Mhm.
right? Is that, I
That's a
believe,
good
what it's
one.
called?
Love the food there.
Really good food there. Usually not busy either. When you
Mhm.
go for lunch, we've done that before. I think we were the only people there, Derek.
We were, you and me. It
And
was a nice romantic time for us.
yeah, right at noon in the Florida heat. And then the Contempo Cafe is probably my least favorite in that area, but it serves its purpose if you're
I
staying
still
at
have
the
never
Contemporary.
eaten there, for the
You're
record.
not missing much. It's
I
just
know. I keep
location.
thinking, I should get there, and then I don't.
When you stay at the Contemporary, you wind up eating there, though. But
Makes
out of
sense.
those, the Roaring Fork at Wilderness Lodge is really good. They have like a barbecue pork sandwich
They
that's
do.
pretty
I've had
solid.
that. That is great.
Um,
Geyser Point. You didn't even
Geyser
hit that
Point,
one
that's
up.
stepping it up a notch. Yeah, that's like in between sit down counter service. Really good bison burger there.
Mhm.
But the Roaring Fork on Thanksgiving, they actually serve Thanksgiving like the same food that's being served up in Whispering Canyon is down there in Roaring Fork, and so it's pretty fantastic. The outside the Magic Kingdom, you're pretty loaded with options. Outside of Epcot Hollywood Studios, though, it's fairly grim. Like, just
Yeah.
stay in the park and eat before you leave, unless you're going to the Riviera where you did it. What's the Piatto?
Primo
Primo Pizzato?
Piatto. I can never say it's.
Primo.
Primo.
Yep, that one. That's good, but the other options, not. Beaches and Cream is good, but you have to have a reservation.
That's
And
correct.
so that's
Though,
not a spur
let
of the
me tell
moment
you,
thing.
I did not know how good that place was going to be until I ate there.
Oh, it's a grease fest of flavor.
So good.
Oh, Beaches and Cream.
That was one of those restaurants so good that it goes back into my I need to get to again as soon as possible.
All right, I've eaten there many times, and there's just lots of different options, and it's all comfort food
Yep.
type of stuff, right? So, um, yeah, those are the good counter services outside of the parks. I don't think you go wrong. Animal Kingdom, there's really not. You're taking a bus no matter what you're doing, and
Yep.
it's kind of sad. So, come on, Animal Kingdom, get a sidewalk.
Well, speaking of Animal Kingdom, you
Hmm.
rope drop Flight of Passage, but with the masses. So you got up at 6 a.m. and went to the parks and you're first in line. But then they tell you the link chamber is down. So no riding a back of a banshee. What do you do, Doug? How do you pivot?
Well, after I throw a little fit
Yep. Got
and
to
say
throw a
life's
fit.
not
That's okay,
fair,
guys.
vacation ruin post on Twitter, right? Um, we probably walk all the way over to Dinosaur while it's still there, if it's still there.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like we probably anger walk to
That's a long
Dinosaur.
walk, my friend.
Not many people will, so you'll just walk right on even after
Yep.
walking all the way to Pandora because there's already going to be a little bit of a line at Everest at that point. Safari won't be open yet. It opens a little bit later than early entry. So, and I do not care for a Navi River journey. I'd rather
Okay.
walk somewhere than go on that. So, and at that time, if we had had a debate about should we or shouldn't we buy the individual lightning lane for Flight of Passage, this is when my wife would turn to me and say, "I told you so. We should have just bought it."
That makes sense. She
So
would
that'd be
say
the
that.
worst part. That'd
Yep.
be the worst part of that whole thing is that "I told you so," and it would happen with a
Absolutely.
glare and like, yeah, I'd be. Then we go to Dinosaur. Then the family would probably go to Everest, and then we'd probably hop on Safari or be using our lightning lanes because a half hour in, you're probably got a lightning lane set up, and
Uh,
hopefully we're able to purchase Flight of Passage. That's a tricky way to get people to purchase it is just not open it for rope
that
drop,
actually
right?
makes so much sense for
I
the
wouldn't
record.
be
I
shocked
don't,
if there's
yeah.
days that they're
In
like,
fact, I'm pretty sure
hmm.
Rise does that on purpose.
But see, I think Rise would sell out with or without that, right?
It hasn't been
Where
selling out though till the end. Like it's been
sell
the
later in the
it's
day, but when it's
just
up and
saying,
down,
I think they shut it down for 30 minutes to sell the last few tickets out. It's a
yeah,
theory, conspiracy theory, but a theory I have.
not the craziest theory Derek's ever
No.
had, folks.
No, definitely not the craziest. I have some wild out there theories. Don't even get me
uh,
started. But
yeah,
oh,
Animal
side
Kingdom.
note, I gotta say, speaking of dinosaur, my wife got me a shirt that says "Not My Dino" on it, so I'm gonna wear it the next
Oh,
time I go.
I need that shirt. I want
I
that
know
shirt.
it's a good one. I'm gonna show you. I'll take a picture of it after the show and send it your
Okay,
way.
you're gonna have
I
to share that on the old social media, and
We'll put it on our Patreon,
there
and
we
then only
go.
our Patreons can see it
Oof. We need to find a way to get a shirt that something about rope dropping Triceratops spin. Like it's
before it
the
goes
only,
away.
yeah, it's the best rope drop in all the parks is
There you
Triceratops
go.
spin. Yeah, I wouldn't
Uh,
recommend that, but we've done it.
nope. We
We've
have.
done it.
I've done it actually multiple trips. I've literally gone, just done that and left. Anyway, moving on. Uh, what things do you do differently when preparing for a land and sea vacation for versus just Walt Disney World? So you're the king of rope drop on deck. So you've
Yeah.
done a lot of land and sea
Hmm.
trips. What do you do
Have.
differently between them?
Well, the biggest difference is how much crap we pack. That's
Yeah, makes
facts.
sense.
Because you're packing for formal nights, you're packing for dinners, you're packing for the beach, you're packing for excursions. Like when you go to Jamaica, you're going to do Dun River Falls. Guess what? You got to pack your water shoes because you have to wear them. Like it's just a lot more to pack, which means just, ugh. Um, I love carry on only, but when you're doing a 7 night cruise, that's tough to do unless you
That
want to
is.
do this thing called laundry.
No one wants to do laundry on vacation.
No, it's not a vacation once you're doing laundry, I hear. So that's number one is you're dealing with a lot more stuff. You have to make sure you have your passports, your cruise luggage tags for your bags that you're going to check at the gate for
Ooh, those
cruising.
came in the
So,
mail for me this week.
oh,
Awesome. I know.
congratulations. So make sure you pack them.
Yep.
Um, And make sure you take your passports, like things that if you're just mentally preparing for a Disney World trip and you go to Disney World regularly, like it's easy to forget all these other little things, and you forget your
Nah,
passport,
something.
you might as well come home, right?
Yep.
So passports, cruise luggage tags, the key. Making sure you have updated your Disney Cruise Line app, making sure you've added your boarding pass for the cruise to your wallet on your iPhone if you're an iPhone user. If you're not an iPhone user, I'm sorry. I'm sure there's an Android equivalent to the wallet. I
Yep.
wouldn't know though.
Don't know.
Yeah, my pinky's out as I say that. I'm an Apple user. So anyway, that's like one of the big things is making sure that I don't forget something I need for cruising, even though the parks are coming first. And now the nice thing is your Magic Bands for both. If you have a Magic Band Plus, which is pretty much all they sell anyway. So Magic Band Plus, make sure you have that and the chargers for it, and you're good for both land and
I found
sea.
my chargers, my missing chargers. Yay me.
I'm so glad. I was worried about that. I was gonna ask if I
Well,
needed to loan you some
we put
chargers.
all of our chargers into one bag, and that bag fell out like in our luggage area in our house. It's just a whole
Mm.
thing.
And then I also you have to coordinate the logistics of how are you getting to the port, how are you getting back from the port. That's important. Last few times we've done land and sea, we've done a rental car, and we just park the car at the port. Super convenient, not the cheapest option. To you're paying to rent the car to literally park it and paying to park it. So and the math doesn't math, but when you can walk off the ship and be in your car in 10 minutes from the time you stepped off the ship, it's pretty fantastic. Or in Derek's words, phenomenal.
Phenomenal. There you
It's
go.
phenomenal. And then you control you got your luggage in your car and you go straight back to a park. You don't have to deal with giving your luggage to a bellhop because your room's not ready and then going to a park. Also, the only bad thing about driving back after a cruise is whoever's driving can't nap, because
Makes
as
sense.
soon as as soon as that car's moving, all of my kids are just asleep.
Yeah. They
Um,
party pretty hard in the kids' clubs on
they
the last day.
they do. They and then Michelle, when we're driving back to Orlando, she's usually just working the whole drive. So
You can call
I
me next
just
time, Doug. Just put an AirPod in. We'll talk on the phone.
okay. We'll just you get spotty service in a couple places along that road too.
Yeah.
So it gets interesting, but it's a pretty easy drive. It's just 4 lanes, two lanes each way. So nothing too stressful, not too busy. And then you take 417 kind of south of Orlando, skirt around all the heavy traffic. Easy peasy.
Easy
Um,
peasy.
yeah. So those are kind of the big things. Like
Yeah, I think
just
you nailed
making
it with the
sure
luggage. I
the
didn't even say
luggage, the
that in mine.
passports, like it's a totally different packing process than just going to the parks. And every time we try to pack, like, this is the bag for the hotel, right? Like everything we need. And then you get down there, you're like, where is? And then you end up going through every bag anyway, every
That's
time.
the worst. Yep.
Yeah. So, like, our cruise to
Our
Alaska,
problem
we had
was
like,
our land and sea, like our bag was so overweight. Because we're like, this is our cruise bag. And I'm like, this is 78 pounds.
yeah, that's not going to work, Derek.
Yep.
Are you doing fish extenders?
Oh, Doug, I'm going all out on fish extenders. I
So, a
actually
whole
got a
bag of
brand
fish
new
extenders?
fish extender for this trip, and I'm in 3 different fish extender groups for it.
Oh, man. I was the
But
person
I
that's like,
do need someone named Doug McKnight to make me some door decorations.
oh, what do you want on your door, Derek? What are you
Oh, we'll have to
thinking?
talk about this. Oh, I already know, but I'll share that with you. But definitely stuff for the Mickey's Not So Merry Mickey's
The
Halloween party.
Halloween on the High Seas.
Halloween on the High Seas. Nailed it. First try.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
yep, you were
yes.
right there. You were in the in the wheel park.
There you go.
So there you
So,
go.
yeah.
Some very logistical differences, but like I'm always stressed about the passport, paperwork for any private excursions that I book. Like if I book third party, I make sure I print a copy because you can't count on internet or cell service on the ship or in a foreign country. It's getting pretty dependable, but I always like to have a hard copy of confirmation emails from third
Makes
party
sense.
excursions, and I book a lot of third party excursions. So that's the
There you go.
differences.
I
Yeah.
like it. All right. Well, there you go. What would Doug do? It is a little bit different than what would Derek do, though we do agree on a few things, that's for sure. But we want to hear from you. The next time we do What Would Derek and Doug Do? What are the questions you would have us pick the difference from? So that'll be a future episode down the road, and that will start with our Patreon. So if you want to be a part of that amazing community, go in the show notes, click the Patreon link, and support the show. It's like the minimum's $2 a month. So we love
Hmm.
our Patreons. We have to get to our after show where we're going to talk a little bit more, but uh, also book a trip with Touring and Cruises because they are amazing. They'll help you have some land and sea adventures, that's for sure. And it's not just Disney. They can do all sorts of things from Carnival to Norwegian, Virgin, all the fun cruises and
Yeah.
more. So, yes, hit them up. And then, yeah, thank you for reviewing the show. Hit that 5 star, help us get to 700. But this is all the time that we have. So, for Doug, I'm Derek. You've been listening to Rope Drop Radio.